We got the president of the Canadian Football League Players Association joining us. And as I read your memo to the players, Saul, it said you were in Arizona. Is that where you're joining us from today?
I was in Arizona last week. I'm now in BC. And as you guys know, there's quarantine laws going on right now. So I'm still in the 14-day quarantine protocol.
Well, I saw, telling the players to get back to Canada prior to the 27th if they could. I guess, do you have a sense that message to the players as of today with training camps being postponed? What's your statement on behalf of the Players Association?
Well, obviously we're following things up with the CFL as things become readily available. The hard thing is, with the government laws and everything's going on, trying to stay on top of what might happen. So that's the biggest thing right now is planning for the worst and, just hoping for the best. So the biggest thing is we're in communication with the league on a daily basis. And I feel like one thing that I'm happy about is how we've been able to mobilize our communication and information for the players. CFLPA.com. There's a lot of, different information there. And there's a link dedicated to the COVID situation, what the government's doing, and also resources that we have for the players as well.
You obviously knew this announcement from the league was coming this morning of the postponement of training camps. And the initial reaction from fans, well, one guy that I saw, a fan, was saying, well, it's serious now. The CFL's postponed camps. Well, it was always serious, Saul. I mean, what do you think, what do you know led to the decision today? Because it's not one that the commissioner would make lightly.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me just say, I commend the CFL for making, I believe, the right decision. And everything that's going on right now, the current climate, the current situation of uncertainty. The number one thing that we've reiterated to the CFL is player safety. And along with player safety comes with, the staff, the support staff, the coaches. There's so much things that go into having practice, having training camp, operating games. And the number one thing is making sure that people are safe. And I do understand the role that sports plays in our society, in the fabric of our society. I think sports is something that can bring us together. Sports is something that provides relief, just to the everyday person, and it helps bring, build our community. But at the same time, it's somewhere we have to make sure that the people that are playing football are, safe in the workplace.
So, how much time would you need to be ready for training camp? So when they say, look, this is kind of moving beyond us, we're going to open training camps. They can't say, hey, camps are going to open on Monday. How much time does a player need to be ready for camp?
Well, you know what? I'm a veteran, so in most situations, I don't want training camp. But you know what? That's a great question, and that's something that we've spoken to the league about, is making sure that players have adequate time to get acclimated to football regimen, to making sure they're in football shape. As we all know, working out is different than being in football shape. A lot of things that come into football shape, and just having chemistry with your teammates, and that's important. So have enough time to acclimate guys to football, because when you don't, that's when injuries do happen. So you know what, it's a lot of questions, and what we're working through with the CFL to get the right answer. And it's not about making hasty decisions, but it's about making the right decisions.
CFL Players Association President Solomon Elimimian is with us on this Monday morning. Question I'm getting a lot from fans, Saul, is what are players doing currently? We've interviewed some of them, but we're not seeing them. You're talking to them daily. What are the guys doing? And with gyms closed, how are they staying in shape from what you've discerned?
Well, I'm a player, and obviously I was in Arizona, ramping up my off-season training, getting ready for the season, and everything shut down. Gyms shut down, and it was just, more safe to not be in the spaces of public gatherings. So I think the players are doing, what I'm doing, and that's, home workouts, being creative, going on YouTube and finding different workouts that you can do at home, or going to parks that are more so isolated, and doing things you can. And one thing that our training head trainer, strength and conditioning coach, has been doing is sending guys workouts that they can do at home, or they can do with little or no access to gyms. So right now it's all about being creative. It's all about utilizing what you do have, and a lot of times just trying to find things, on the go.
Saul, how has being a CFL player changed from when you came into the league to now? Because the players that I talked to, they all got personal trainers now, right? It's a year-round job being a CFL player. Was it that way when you started, or has it evolved to this?
Well, I think for me, it's always been a year-round thing in terms of getting my body right, getting acclimated. I think that, there's more attention to player safety. That's one thing that I realized. That's one thing that I noticed is, the big hits that were, plotted many years ago, are being taken away from the game, which is a good thing because it's all about player safety. And I think that, guys have more of a platform to express themselves. And, things are changing. Obviously, the rules are changing. So it's something where, you feel like you have to always stay on top of how things evolve.
Lastly, Saul, you've been sending messages to the players. What would you have as a message to the fans here today that are worried with the news?
Yeah, well, you know what? That's important. And I have to commend our player reps. We have tremendous player reps from each team that represents the guys in the locker room. And, one thing I've took upon myself, along with our executive, is to have, weekly 2 calls a week just to keep guys updated, as long as, answering calls, nonstop, and a lot of times players just want to vent, and that's okay because, what I'm going through it also. So that's important, just communicating, just to the fans. Just want you guys to know, we want to thank you guys for your patience, and, it's important that I'll play a role in getting, things, to where it needs to be, where, we could have a safe atmosphere and, as they say, lowering this curve, getting this curve under control with this, COVID virus. And there's a lot of unknowns right now. There's a lot of uncertainties right now, but, just know that we're all going through this together. And, at the end of the day, the safety of the fans, safety of the players, safety of the community is number one priority. And I feel like, if we have that mindset, we'll be fine. And a lot of times how I look at things is, tragedy, hardships, in my opinion, it's a way that we can bond. It's a way that we can come together and see how we can do things better and how we could, unify. So that's something that I left with the play reps, and I've left with the players. At this time, it's important for us to, unite and, come together. And tragedy has a way of doing that.
I only have one more question for you, but before I do, from a couple of viewers, Miranda Foster has written in. She says, Rod, tell Solomon I say hi, please. So there you go from Miranda, one of the great fans of the CFL. Ron Hart is watching from BC. He says, huge fan of Solomon. We have several of your jerseys from when you were in BC. As a fan of yours, so glad you returned from injury and still playing at a high level in Sask. And you mentioned the tragic portion of where we're at right now with this crisis. So I ask this somewhat tongue-in-cheek. Are you still glad you ran for presidency of the CFLPA because you've been hit with the biggest crisis in 100 years in the CFL?
It's crazy you say that, because that's the number one question I've been getting from a lot of players and just friends. And, Solomon, it's a weird time to be president. You have a lot on your plate, but you know what? I just feel like it's an opportunity to strengthen our league, opportunity to strengthen our association. Like I said, I'm very proud of the work our association is doing. We have full-time employees that are, really there to support and provide players with resources, whether it's, literacy on financial literacy and, improving their overall wellness being, that's my role, is just to support guys and just to provide as much, certainty, in uncertain times. But, what I look at as an opportunity, and I feel like once we get out of this, we'll be better for it.
Well, Solomon, if it means anything from us, you're doing a great job, and I appreciate the time here today, and good luck moving forward.
All right, I really appreciate you for having me, and just want to give a special thanks to all those first responders and medical professionals that are putting their lives on the line to make sure we're all safe.
Thank you, Saul.
Appreciate it.
You're watching Rod Pedersen on demand. For more of the Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.